talking about praise this morning. And that occurred to me too, that, when every breath that we have comes from God. So when we're sharing, I don't care if we're sharing up here, or if we're sharing at home, or amongst your friends, or at work, when you're sharing Christ, you're praising Him.
Amen.
You are.
Yes.
And believe it or not, when your enemy talks bad to you, and you answer with a soft answer, you are showing praise to God.
Yes.
Because that's coming out of your mouth, and it's praise. That's what it is. And in fact, Romans 10:10, I just looked this up, it says, with the heart one believes anyway into redemption, and with the mouth confession is made to salvation. With your mouth, your salvation becomes victory. God's salvation is two things. It is redemption by Christ's blood, but it is the working out of God's victory in your life. And with your mouth, you can work God's victory in your life. And that was kind of what I was going to share this morning too. Hebrews 7 verse 25. Because he, 24 starts with 24. But he, because he continues forever, has an unchangeable priesthood. Therefore he is also able to save to the uttermost those who come to God through him, since he always lives to make intercession for them. Salvation, like I said, it's the working out of God's victory in your life. And that's an ongoing process. Here's another verse. Philippians 2:12 and 13. Therefore, beloved, as you have always obeyed, not as in my presence only, but now much more in my absence, work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. For it is God who works in you, both to will and to do for his good pleasure. That's God working his salvation out in your life.
Yeah.
And that's an ongoing process.
Yes.
And let's not be, when you're doing the will of God in your life, and you're in God's will, I have a word for you, and that word is be faithful and don't be weary. Because God has doors that are going to open for you if you are not weary in well-doing. Don't be weary in well-doing. That's Galatians. In fact, I'm going to read it. Galatians 6:9. And let us not grow weary while doing good. While doing good doesn't necessarily mean good deeds. It means while you're on the right path. If you're in God's will, don't be weary. Don't say, this is getting boring. Don't be weary. For in due season we shall reap if we do not lose heart.
Amen.
And
Yes,
that's a
Lord.
word for somebody here, maybe for several people here. If you're in God's will, stay there. Don't give up. Be confident, because God's going to open doors for you.
Amen.
That's
Yes,
the
Lord.
word from
Thank
the
you.
Lord. And another thing is, I remember Melanie mentioning this earlier in Jeremiah 12:5.
Love that.
Okay, I'm going to read it. If you have run with the footmen, and they have wearied you, then how can you contend with the horsemen? And that's a neat verse, because you think about it, you think, okay, I'm tired of running with the footmen. I don't even want to run with the horsemen. Well, think of this. In those days, if you had horsemen, you had victory.
That's right.
That's it. You were running with the victorious group, the victorious crowd, if you run with the horsemen. If you want victory in your life, run with the horsemen. Don't be weary.
That's right.
Just run.
Amen.
Let God. And there's this too. God is able to save to the uttermost. If God is nudging you and saying to you, I've got more victory for you. I've got more salvation for you in this life. If he's nudging you and saying, maybe you should give this up, or maybe you should step out of your comfort zone and do this, God's going to open doors for you, because he's nudging you, and he wants you to be victorious in your life. He wants your salvation. He wants you to finish the course, like Paul said. He wants you to finish the course of victory, to run the full race, you know.
Yes.
And so that's what I have.
Awesome.